Why on earth did I go out to California to come fig hunting? Look at this. Little did you know, right here in southern Missouri, we've got seedling trees everywhere. Look at them all. Hundreds of them just growing in the wild. Well, not really in the wild. Let's just take a tour here. Oh, that one needs a little bit of water. But look at this. A lot of these are 10, 12 feet tall. All new growth this year. They're planted in the ground and get covered up a little bit. I'll have somebody, a guest speaker, tell us about that. But just look at the growth on these things. They're huge. Look at all those figs. Just figs everywhere you look. And you'd think with them growing like this that you might get confused. Oh no, he knows his trees very well. Here, hold on, I'm 6'3". Whoop. Yeah. These are amazing. Let's see if we can. Hey, what do we got here?
What's going on, man?
This place is amazing.
There's a few figs out here.
Oh, just a few. Goodness gracious.
This is all this year's growth. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm 6'3.5". Yep.
Hey everyone, this is from Our Figs. This is Mr. Figs, otherwise known as Bill.
Oh.
He's amazing. He's been telling me about his method of growing for years, the way that he prepares them and propagates and puts them in the soil. And having seen this for myself now, whatever he's doing is working. So tell me a little bit about it. How do you take care of your trees? What's the soil?
It's all about deep mulch. What we're standing on is decomposed wood chips. This has been down here for many, many years. We haven't had rain in a very long time. But
Look at the way that soil, just goodness.
I can just reach my hand into that soil, deep as I want to go. I'm still. So without the wood chips, this soil is hard clay, and you can't even. It's like concrete. You wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But so, I mean, this has been down, granted, for probably 10 years or 12. So every year I just put new on top. Since I've done the initial deep layer, now everything else is maintenance layer. So you can see the dead grass that's been pulled up, and I just let it lay. If I cut back any trees or anything, I'll just cut those branches and leave them lay. So the leaves come in the fall and cover. So it's just a continual layer after that initial application.
It's amazing.
And, yeah, it's just everything goes nuts. This is a little Asian pear here. This is just a tomato volunteer that came up, so I just stuck a cage on it. But these are pawpaws over here. Right, if you just keep turning these are all pawpaw trees. Everything loves it. And you can see there's a fresh layer of wood chips that I put down just before the pawpaws start ripening. Because when they fall, they're ready, and then they'll fall on that beautiful soft layer, and it doesn't hurt them, and you can see them real easy and go get them.
So if any of you watched some of the recent videos by Oregon Figs or Chris Claremont, that's where the pawpaws came from, right here.
I am the friend.
That's
right.
right.
I am his friend. This one is mango, which is his favorite tree.
Yeah.
Mine as well.
Mango is an incredible
this one
variety.
is the Wells and the Susquehanna. Wabash is over there. This is a little seedling, and then another seedling. That's the KSU Chappelle. Is this one right here. I haven't had that one. I'm excited to try that one next year. But yeah.
So what do you do? How do you protect your trees in the winter? What do you do to prepare them and have such incredible growth?
Every year, if we can get in here, I don't know if we can get into this carvalho or not and actually see. So I will literally cut this tree down to the ground. But if you'll notice down in here, there's some smaller, like these smaller ones. and I'll cut these down all the way, and then these smaller ones I'll just lay over to the ground and then put some cardboard over it. If you see this cardboard right here, this was a new box that was just covered over the winter. So I'll try to cover them up, you know, by like December 1st or something like that. Then I'll uncover them toward the end of February, early March. Our last frost, excuse me, is April 15th. So I'll just kind of take the cardboard off at the end of February and set the cardboard off to the side. So I put cardboard and wood chips. I don't know if I said the wood chips part.
Okay.
So I put cardboard over it, and then I'll just dump wood chips and just leave it like that. There's a bunch of ways to do it though. But I just try to save, just like Mario Di Natale, I think I've said his name right. That's the same technique that he used. He would save 3 branches each year and just get rid of all of this year's growth, this is all this year's growth, which you can, and most of these figs will ripen, you know. As you can see, the birds are having their way with me right now.
I think you have enough to share.
Yeah. I actually, at first, when they first start ripening, I can't stand to see the birds eating them. I'll try to chase them off, but at this point of the year, there's so many coming in, I'll just be standing over here eating them. I'll look over there and the birds will be eating them, like, have at it, birds, just go to town, you know. And they really love it, you know. But,
how deep of wood chips do you put on top of the cardboard?
So I literally will take a wheelbarrow and just dump onto the wood chips, or onto the cardboard on top of the trees.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of pull it around, because there's some gaps where the air could get in, and I just try to cover the ones up top. We can get down to 0, you know, so I mean that's unusual. 0 or even below just slightly, if we have a polar vortex.
Well, that's,
which we've had in the last 2 years. We've had 2 polar vortexes,
that's impressive.
but as you can see, it doesn't slow the figs down at all, you know. And
it's amazing.
yeah, this one is the Feather River right here. We're standing beside.
I was about to ask. It's the only one that I've seen with leaves. Put your hand up there. Remember,
look at this leaf.
He's 6 foot something, and those leaves.
6'3", you know.
There you go.
Yeah, with a big old beard. This is still bigger than me. You know. Yeah. It's a monster, and it's, you know, I don't know that it's going to get to ripen these this year, but
yeah,
I went with 4-foot spacing pretty much between the trees, and 5 or 6 feet between the rows. And it needs to be more 6 feet between the trees and maybe 7 or 8 feet between the rows, you know, because I can prune these back to walk between, but it's getting a little dense, you know, for the trees.
Yeah.
And the light becomes an issue, you know. You need the light for the figs. But.
So how many varieties of figs roughly would you say that you have?
If I was guessing, I used to keep track, and then when I got close to 300, I quit. So I would guess 400-ish, 350.
There's a reason why his username is Mr. Figs.
But yeah, it's
can I tell him a story quick? So in 2018 was when I started growing figs, and I go all out with whatever I'm growing, and I'm passionate about it. I probably posted more in those first few months than anyone had, and you know, I think everyone knew who's the crazy new guy that's all into figs. Well, one Christmas, 2018, that Christmas, I got this package. I'm like, what in the world is this? I opened this package up from a bill, and I didn't know it was Mr. Figs. And there were all of these incredible varieties that hardly anybody had, and everyone was talking about them. And it was just full of the most amazing cuttings, all that he had sent me, because he thought that I was a nice guy on the forum, and he's Big Santa for me and for many other people on the forum. Yeah. So that was just an awesome welcome. So that, for me, really set the tone on how I wanted to interact with people on our figs. So I've tried to have giveaways. I've tried to give cuttings and things away, because it was so awesome for me to open that and feel that way. I'm like, well, let's just keep doing this around for everyone and spread the love.
But you know, happiness is only real when it's shared.
Yeah, I love it.
And the key to having is sharing the experience that you have. That's the key to happiness, and the happiness with sharing. So if you'll just do it and share it, you know, with somebody, you're going to find a lot more satisfaction out of the hobby and the experience of having the trees and enjoying the trees. You know, the more you share, the more you give, the more will come back to you. You just got to have faith in that, and it works. It's just something you do, and it takes time, but that's the key to having happiness and having anything, really.
What a wonderful approach to life in general and for everything. It certainly has worked for figs.
Yes.
Well, I just wanted to show you guys a tour. I could walk around and walk around and walk around.
Yeah.
He has fig trees
This is
all
one.
over.
You've been in one patch. And there's another 3 that aren't this big, but there's another 3 like this on my property. You know.
I've already had a ton of varieties today from off of his trees, so it's been awesome. So much fun to come
So
here and
it's
see
very
this.
much worth the work. It is. It's a labor of love, but it's so worth it at this point. And we work all year long for this, for the month and a half, 2-3 months that you have to enjoy like this, and then in all the rest of the time you're moving in, you're covering it up, you're uncovering it, you're just doing all the stuff, you know. And
Well, I was worried about moving to Tennessee until I remembered that he lived very near me. He's just right on the border of the northern part of Tennessee, and he was telling me all of the things that he grows and the protection that he does. So he's the reason why I actually decided to keep growing figs once I moved here, and why I had half a semi truck full of my trees when I came out here, because I trusted him, and I'm glad I did.
it's very much worth it. But I have to say, with the caprified figs that you shared with me today that I've never had before, I'm going to be getting my capra figs. I've kind of let the capra figs. I've got a few varieties, but I just haven't put much emphasis on those. But I'm going to start getting I'm going to hand pollinate some of these.
They
They're
are
absolutely amazing.
game changer
It
for
is
sure.
total game changer.
Well, thank you so much for doing this and for having me over and come see and tour your orchard, and just keep it up, man. I love everything you post and all of the way that you bring life and excitement to the forum.
Thank you. Happy Labor Day, everybody, and then just enjoy your figs.
Thank you.